Hi guys, so today we are doing C2, which is basically divisibility of numbers. And again, this is one of those basic topics which will help you to calculate faster by knowing the appropriate divisibility and the remainder tests of each of the numbers. So let's start with this concept. And in the first half, we'll actually go through the idea that what exactly is divisibility and what are the terms associated with that. So let's take a very simple example. Suppose there is a number 19 and we are dividing this number 19 by, let's say, 5. So when we divide 19 by 5, what we will get is 5 threes are 15. We will get 4 as the remainder. So these are the terms, folks. 5 is called as divisor, 19 is called as dividend, 3 is called as quotient, and 4 is called as remainder. So if I want to represent 19 in terms of 5, 3 and 4, I can represent that 19 as 5 into 3 plus 4. 5 3s are 15 plus 4 gives you 19, and that gives us a simple formula that we have done in the school days, but still just a quick recap of that. When we substitute the terms at the respective places, what we get is dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Remember this formula, folks. We will be using this in some of the places to calculate. And now with this quick introduction, let's actually start with the divisibility tests for the different numbers. So we have grouped certain numbers in certain ways, and we will start with first the group of 2. So the first power of 2 is basically 2 raised to 1, which is 2 itself. And in simple words, how do we decide whether a number is divisible by 2 or not? Is basically we look at the last digit of the number, which is the units place wala digit. If the units place wala digit is an even digit, basically 2 4 6 8, or is it a 0, then we say that the entire number is divisible by 2. As a very simple divisibility test, last digit has to be a even digit or it should be 0. The second power of 2 is basically 2 raised to 2, which is 4. How do we decide whether a number is divisible by 4 or not? So because 4 is the second power of 2, so what do? Is we look at the last two digits of the number. If the last two digits of the number are divisible by 4 or are double zero, then we say that the entire number is divisible by 4. Similarly, continuing this in few further aspect, suppose 2 raised to 3 is 8. If we want to figure out if any number is divisible by 8 or not without actually dividing, the only reason that why we are having all these divisibility tests is we are not going to divide going forward, and we are just going to use this shortcut techniques and save a lot of time in terms of the simple calculation, and that is what the aim is. So 8, because it's a third power of 2, we will look at last three digits of a number. If last three digits of a number are divisible by 8 or triple zero, then we say that the entire number is divisible by 8. And the last one, 2 raised to 4 is 16, the fourth power. So obviously if you have realized the pattern, we are going to look at last four digits of any number. If the last four digits of any number are divisible by 16 or 4 times 0, then we say that entire number is also divisible by 16. Then same is going to be the case for the remainder tests as well. So for suppose there is a number which you are going to divide by, suppose 2 4 8 and 16, and you are supposed to figure out the remainder directly without actually having to divide the entire number and then figuring out the remainder like we used to do it in the school days. We are not going to do that. That is the whole advantage of having the tests. You save the time, you use it as a shortcuts, and hence you need to know them as early as possible. So suppose you are dividing any number and you are wanting to figure out what is the remainder when you divide that particular number by 2 without actually having to divide the number. what you do is you don't divide the entire number, but you just divide the last digit by 2. And when you divide the last digit, yani unit digit of that number by 2, whatever is the remainder that you get at that time will be the same remainder that you will actually get when you divide the entire number by 2. So you're not going to divide the entire number, you're just going to divide the last digit of that number by 2 to get the remainder. Same is the thing. Suppose for 4, you're not going to divide the entire number by 4. You're just going to divide the last 2 digits of that number by 4 to have the remainder. For 8, it will be divide last 3 digits of the number by 8 to get your remainder. And for 16, if you know the pattern, it is very easy. Divide last 4 digits of that number by 16. Whatever is the remainder that you get here in this case will be the same remainder that you will get when you divide the entire number by 16. And this is the beauty of all these tests. You will end up saving tons of time to simplify and use it somewhere more efficiently. So this is the first group, which is the powers of 2. The next part is, suppose the next group, which is powers of 3. As usual, first power of 3 is 3 raised to 1, which is 3. So how do we decide whether a number is divisible by 3 or not? So we don't divide, we just add all the digits of the number. If all the digits of the number, after adding the sum, if the sum is divisible by 3, then we say that entire number is also divisible by 3. So for this particular example, when we add all the digits 2 plus 1 plus 7 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2, the sum turns out to be 21, and we know that 21 is divisible by 3. So I can blindly say that this entire number is also divisible by 3. Second power of 3 is 3 square, which is 9. Same funda, you need not to divide the entire number. You're just going to add all the digits of the number, and whatever is that sum of all the digits, if it is divisible by 9, then you say that entire number is also divisible by 9 in this case. So in this case, for this particular example, when we add all the digits of that big number, the sum of the digits turns out to be 27, which is divisible by 9. So I can say that this entire number is divisible by 9. Same is going to be the remainder test. For finding out the remainder, when you divide a number by 3 and 9, you're not going to divide the entire number as always. We are going to divide the sum of the digits by 3 and 9 respectively. In this case, whenever you divide the sum of the digits by 3 and 9, whatever is the remainder that you get in these cases will be the same remainder that you will get when you actually divide the number by 3 and 9. And as usual, the fact remains the same, that for most of the numbers, whatever is the divisibility test is probably the remainder test as well. So continuing this further, the second groupings is basically divisibility test of powers of 5. So the first power of 5 is 5 raised to 1, which is 5 itself. And how do we decide whether a number is divisible by 5 or not? So we look at the last digit, that is the unit digit of the number as usual. If the unit digit of the number is either 0 or 5, then we say that the entire number is divisible by 5. This is a very simple one. You would be aware of this. Second power of 5 is 5 square, which is 25. And if you remember powers of 2 ka funda, same has to be applicable here as well. Because 25 is 5 ka second power, so we are going to look at the last 2 digits of the number. So last 2 digits of the number, if they are divisible by 25 or if they are 00, then we say that the entire number will be divisible by 25. For the next power of 5, which is 5 cube, which is 125, and if you know the pattern, because it is the third power of 5, we are going to look at last 3 digits of the number. So if last 3 digits of the number are divisible by 125 or 000, then we say that entire number is also divisible by 125. So this is how you can continue the pattern in a similar manner, and every time you will keep getting the same answer and you will save lot of time. Same is going to be the remainder test funda. Remainder test for 5, you are not going to divide the entire number, you are just going to divide the last digit of the number by 5. In this case, whatever is the remainder that you get will be the same answer that you will get when you actually divide the entire number by 5. For that, you are going to divide the last two digits of the number by 25 to get the remainder. For 125, you are going to divide the last three digits of the number by 125 to get the answer of the remainder. So again, whatever is the divisibility test is the same as the remainder test. The next divisibility test is basically for the test of 11, and this is slightly different than what we have done or seen so far. So for 11, what we usually do is, for figuring out whether a number is divisible by 11 or not, is you add all the alternate place wale digit. For example, something like this: you either add even place wale digits and odd place wale digits. So when we add even place wale digits, which have been marked as 5, 3 and 4, when we add them, we get the sum of those even place digits as 12. And we have to do the same for the odd place digits. Odd place digits are 7, 2 and 3, which again gives me the sum as 12. So what you are going to remember, you are going to add the even place digits and you are going to add the odd place digits, and whatever is their sum, you are going to take the positive difference of that. Mind you, I'm using the words positive difference. Positive difference is always higher minus smaller. So when we take the positive difference between them, that difference has to be either 0 or should be a multiple of 11. The positive difference between the odd place digit and the even place digit has to be either 0 or a multiple of 11. Then we say that the entire number is divisible by 11. So this is the divisibility test for 11, to figure out whether a number is divisible by 11 or not. The official statement for that: the difference in the sum of the even place digits and the odd place digits must be either 0 or a multiple of 11, positive difference. Then we say that entire number is divisible by 11. Similarly, the last part now in this regards, which is slightly different again, which is test for the numbers having the co-prime factors. And we had already discussed this idea in the previous topic, which is co-prime numbers. So co-prime numbers are the ones that just have one common factor between them. They are called as co-prime numbers. So basically, there are certain numbers which will have the co-prime factors, and for them what is to be done is what exactly we are supposed to see right now. So suppose let's consider a number which is 6. So there is no standalone test for divisibility test for 6, because 6 has co-prime factors as 2 and 3. So if you want to check whether a number is divisible by 6 or not, you simply need to check whether it is divisible by both 2 and 3. If it is divisible by both 2 and 3, then you can blindly say that it is divisible by 6 as well. Similarly, there can be another example. Suppose if you want to check whether a number is divisible by 12 or not, obviously it should be divisible by both the 3 and 4. If it is divisible by both the 3 and 4, then you can blindly say that it is also divisible by 12. Now here the particular factor is, you are not going to check by 2 and 6. Why 2 and 6? Because 2 and 6 are not co-prime to each other, and that is why the wordings are very clear, which is co-prime factor. So it has to be co-prime factors. If the number is divisible by the co-prime factors of the bigger number, then obviously it will also be divisible by the bigger number. So that is one different idea that also you can work with. So remember guys, these all divisibility test and remainder test, which will definitely act as your saving tool and shortcuts kind of approaches, which will in turn save a lot of your time which you can use effectively somewhere else. So thank you so much guys. If you have any concerns, do let us know. Bye bye.